Blessed be all my soul family and allies out there. In this video, I am going to be teaching you a spell that you can use to throw off your enemies, create a decoy, and redirect all of their energies, works, wills, thoughts, creations, and entities away from you using an old shoe. I just bought a new pair of shoes and I have worn these puppies to death, and it's time to give them one last mission before I send them off to the trash heap. And you can do this with any article of clothing or apparel that you have worn a lot, but probably did not wash very much. This is one of those kinds of spells where you definitely want to make sure you are using something that has a lot of your own bodily oils, your own you in it, because it is going to make for the perfect decoy, something that has a great deal of your energy in it. And that being said, you do not want to cleanse your shoe, or if you would prefer to use a hat or a cap or something, you don't want to cleanse or clear that either, because you're basically creating something that is going to attract and draw away from you everything that's being sent to you by enemies, energy vampires, stalkers, any baddies, or those working against you that may be trying to get to you or trying to connect to you or send their own influence or their own energies or their own wills or intentions towards you that you do not want. And so basically all you're going to need for this spell is, of course, your shoe, or if you have, again, a cap or an unwashed undershirt or even a sock, that would work just fine. Just make sure, again, it's preferably not washed and something that you have worn quite a bit. And I've had these shoes for a very long time, and they're very worn out and they have seen a lot of action, so this is perfect. I also will be working with an intention paper. You are going to need that. We'll talk about that in a second. And I just like to lift up the insole and put the paper in there. If you're using a hat, of course, you might need to pin or affix your intention paper in there, or find a way to stick it in there, or fold it up, seal it up good and tight. You could sew it up, or if you're using a sock, you just put it in the sock and wrap it up, whatever you're going to do. But you do need your article of clothing. Next, you are also going to need, as I mentioned a minute ago, or less than a minute ago, your intention paper. Now, your intention paper is basically what you are stating you want this spell to do, how you want it to work. And you want to make sure that you are clear, but you are open with this intention. So what I have written down on mine is very to the point, but also open to possibilities, because I want this to affect enemies known and unknown. So I have basically written on mine, all my enemies and stalkers, their works and wills, energies, entities, and searching eyes, be now drawn to this shoe, wherever it be, lost, directed, and driven far from me, now and forever, so mote it be. Very simple, very to the point, and nothing is really left to be questioned as far as that's concerned. I do not recommend, when you're doing spells like this, to put people's names on this, because one, you might not know who your enemy really is. Number two, you have an opportunity to draw way more enemies and enemy influences away from yourself if you're not just focusing on one person. And you also want to understand that sometimes people may be not necessarily working with you on something, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're your enemy. And so you want to be mature about this. Now, one of the things I've noticed when it comes to, working online, both here and over on Son of Selene, doing tarot readings and astrology readings, a lot of people are they're not very good at writing intentions or asking questions. It's like they are way too vague when they're getting readings, and they're way too pointed and target directed when it comes to doing spells. Like, I wish everyone could just kind of, flip. You're doing it the wrong way. You're doing it the wrong way. I say enemies and stalkers known and unknown because I also want to include spirits. I also want to include entities. I also want to include, again, people I don't know might be my enemies. I want to include people that I have not even spoken to that could be stalking me online. So that, of course, is all going into this spell. And the nice thing about this is that, you know, if there is somebody you are super concerned about, of course it would be included. So please, you know, and I'm only saying it this way because I noticed with the last spell with the karmic contracts, people were like really fixated on names and they're like attached and like just hyper focused on one person or one thing. Choose your battles. Choose your battles on that, guys. Don't always go there. Okay? Open up, because that way this spell is going to work a lot better for you. The nice thing about this is, as well, is because there's so much of you in there, not to be gross, but your sweat and your dead skin cells and your energy and so much that you have done and you know, so many places you have walked and gone in your shoes or in your cap or in your shirt or whatever, that this isn't a spell that an entity or somebody who is seeking you is going to be able to discern that's a shoe. Versus that's so-and-so. It is going to confuse everything going on in that situation. So that's what we definitely want to see happen there. So you've got your intention paper, and you are going to also want to load this up with some ingredients. And so you can either go with dry ingredients, or you can go with you know, or you can go with oils. It all depends on what you've got at hand. It's very, very simple. What you're basically going to want to do is load this up with attraction herbs or attraction oils. Anything that is going to attract and draw attention. Love workings, love herbs, love oils are great for this. If you do have any kind of compelling or commanding herbs or oils such as calamus or licorice or Queen Elizabeth root, that is also really good for this as well. But anything that's going to be attracting, so Damiana, rose, jasmine, anything that is going to be bringing in allure, you know, again, making it sweet. You can even, if you want, you know, drizzle a bit of honey or maple syrup in the shoe or in the cap, because we're not going to put this on and wear it again. You know, once we're done with this, we're going to get rid of it. You can do whatever to sweeten this puppy up. If you want to put sugar in it, that's fine. But what you're doing is you are creating something that is going to basically draw and attract away from you, kind of like a witch's bottle, anything that is seeking you that you do not want seeking you. And that way it will be carried far from you. It will go towards the shoe. And since we don't necessarily, you know, recycle old shoes, especially not ones as beat up as this, I'm only holding it at angles that make it look like I treated it better than I really did. We tend to throw them out, right? They do end up in landfills, or they do end up, you know, in trash heaps. That's where that energy, that's where that person's thoughts or attachments or cords or, you know, whatever's tend to go. This is something I would recommend doing every time you were ready to get rid of an old pair of shoes or an old cap or whatever, especially if you feel like it's time, you haven't done something like this in a while. This is a great practice. This is a great thing to do. Also, guys, just before taking one step further, I do want to just interject here post-recording that if you are going to use oils, please, please, for the love of God, don't use just pure essential oils undiluted when you are applying things with your bare skin, okay? If you are going to, you know, like I use blends. These are cut with carrier oils. If you are using just pure essential oils themselves, like say you would like to just put a few drops of oil, put it directly on the shoe or on the hat or on the cap or whatever. Do not handle with skin contact or anything like that essential oils. I don't want to hear about people getting chemical burns or anything along those lines, okay? So you're going to see me rubbing oil onto this, but they are cut with carrier oils and very much diluted and all of that good stuff. So use that same kind of caution if you're going to use oils at all, please. So let's get down to business and make it so. So again, first you're going to want to get your attraction herbs or your attraction oils. So I have some blends here that I'm going to be using, but again, you don't have to use blends if you don't have them. Again, Damiana, passion flower, rose, jasmine, neroli, Queen Elizabeth root, licorice, calamus, all of those kind of commanding / compelling / seductive / attraction oriented oils and herbs will be just fine. Cinnamon, patchouli, those are also really, really good. Anything that's going to be bringing in the desire focus or the attraction focus so that all of those things go into the shoe. So I'm going to be taking my blends here. And I'm just going to be dabbing them on my intention paper at first, and then I'm probably gonna go back over the shoe as well. I might as well do that right now. So I'm just putting this on my paper first, really kind of getting that in there. And then get some on the shoe. And then I'm just going to anoint the shoe with the paper in it. Got a bigger glob over here for you guys to see. Just kind of really rub that in, get that on the ins and outs. And again, if you want to do dry herbs inside, you absolutely can. Just load up that shoe, load up that cap, load up that sock, whatever you're doing. You know, you could just make a little sachet out of it, essentially. But make sure, again, there's a lot of you, and there's been a lot of time in that shoe, or in that cap, or in that whatever. Now, one last thing I didn't mention in the beginning is I have also put some symbols on here just to kind of further strengthen my intentions. So I've got the Raito rune, and then I've got the Need rune. The Raito rune is the rune of travel. It's the rune of movement and messages and direction. And then Nid is, of course, the obstacle rune. It's the binding rune. It's the rune of obstruction. So obviously I want that because this is going to obstruct and draw away anything directed at me towards itself, because essentially this is a dummy Nico. And then, of course, I've also got my deity symbols on here, so they will watch over it. So we are good to go. So if you have deity symbols you want to work with, that's great too. Again, I'm not in your house, and so we might not have the same deities. Do some research, or you should know your deities if you work with deities. Who's going to be down, who's not. All 4 of mine are definitely down. So now, when you're ready, you basically, what you want to do is you want to take your intention paper and you actually turn it counterclockwise so that all the words are turned upside down as you're looking at them. And then you fold it away from you 1, 2, and 3 times. And then you turn it counterclockwise again. And then you fold it away from you 1 time, 2 times, and then you're good to go. And then you find somewhere in your shoe or in your hat or whatever you're doing to stick your intention paper. And then what you're going to want to do after that is you're going to want to charge up your shoe. Okay, you're going to want to get real clear, get real focused, you know, and you can, of course, call forth your guides, call forth your deities. You do not need a candle to charge this. This is something that's meant to just kind of get ready and do the work. It doesn't need a lot of energy. What it needs is a program and a function, a mission, and then you're going to take it out the door and you're going to throw it away off your property. That's also crucial. It's going to get to work right away. So this is the shoe you want to go and, you know, you're going to throw it away at either a public waste bin, or if you can't, you know, find one of those, you know, throw it away at a, you know, in a park waste bin or at the gas station waste bin. It doesn't matter. It's going to get picked up and hauled away. All right. So let's charge this guy up and get down to business there. All evil, ill intent, works, wills, entities, and energies sent to me by my enemies, known and unknown, sent by my stalkers, known and unknown, and those who would seek to do me harm in any way, be now completely fascinated, drawn to, attracted to this shoe. Let this shoe be Nico to mine enemies. Let this shoe draw them. Let them be drawn here, wherever this shoe be. Let them be pulled into this shoe, fascinated and attached to this shoe. All attachments, all thought forms, all cords, all spells, all thoughts, all intentions sent by my enemies, stalkers, and adversaries, known and unknown, and all of their cords, attachments, now be drawn into this shoe, whatever it is. Okay. And so once you're done with that, okay, now that the shoe is activated, now that the shoe is programmed and ready to go, it's time to get rid of it. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this outside really quickly. I just had to put some Florida water on just to kind of cleanse and clear. It was weird as I was carrying that shoe. I could already feel a lot of stuff like just get drawn right to the shoe. So, but that's basically it. It's a super simple, super quick and easy spell you can do. Again, a nice decoy. Just keep in mind that, again, this is not a shield, it's a decoy. So this isn't something that necessarily is going to serve you to keep around. You want to get rid of it. After you're done getting rid of it, right, throwing it away, making sure that it's, thrown away off your property, or, if you live in an apartment complex or something, then maybe you could take it to a trash bin or something in the complex far away from your unit. That's fine too. That you take some time not to go by that particular space for a couple of days, just make sure things are kind of moving out of there. I'm going to actually drop this off at a gas station at a part of town that I don't visit really ever. I have no business over there, and so I know that I'm good to go as far as that's concerned. And just let it be. And that's it. And anything that's getting projected your way, sent your way, is going to be drawn right into your shoe or whatever you're throwing out. So that's what I've got for you all. I'd love to hear some testimonies for those of you who are going out and trying it and doing the work. Let me know in the comments down below. We'll be coming back with more talks about spiritual protection works, as well as I want to talk about signs of psychic attack and curses and hexes. And I also have a special video on ethics that I want to bring up here very, very soon. But in the meantime, if you were thinking about throwing out them old shoes or that old hat, consider this instead. You all take care, and I will see you all again soon.